Recording in progress.
Hello, my name's Amy Cami, and I have been a professional harpist in the St. Louis area for more than 40 years. When I graduated from Indiana University in 1987, a family friend was going through hospice care, and I recorded a cassette tape for her to listen to. And that was my first introduction into music and healing and how to integrate the arts into the healing process. That cassette tape started me on a journey through this field of research. And over the last 20 years, we have designed several pilot studies and actually have a published study with cancer patients who listened to my music that indicated that neurological functioning tended to normalize in 10 days, and that the immune system was supported for up to 72 hours after listening to the CD once. So how does that happen with a recorded piece of music? That question started me on this journey of trying to articulate how I saw and how I felt the music impacting people. So what I'm going to share with you today are two of the concepts that have expanded my relationship with music as somebody who shares music, as well as somebody who listens to music. So music for wellness, or what I like to call creating harmony within and around us, starts with the understanding and the awareness that harmony, by definition, is the pleasing agreement of parts. The pleasing agreement of parts. So over the years, I have expanded my perception of how I see myself and other people as a harp. We're all beautiful instruments with our own unique set of strings. And these strings, metaphorically, represent some of our parts, our thoughts, our feelings, our experiences, our actions, our reactions. And neurologically, it actually is a metaphor for how our brains are wired, how they're tuned and pruned from the time we're born, or actually even before we're born in utero. Those neurological connections happen based upon our experiences, our environment, our culture. So we are all unique instruments. And sometimes life and all these parts feel a little chaotic or crazy. This is what I call my unaddressed anxiety. But as we slow down, I'm playing the same strings, but there's space. The pace, the rhythm of these notes of life, of these parts interacting, slows down. So why does that affect us so dramatically? Why does it feel so much more comfortable when the pace and the rhythm is slow and there's space between our thoughts and our feelings and our actions and our reactions? This is the first concept I'd like to introduce, and it's called entrainment. Entrainment is when independent rhythms sync up or match. So on their own, they're just going and going and going, but then they're independent, and then yet they sync up and they match, and that is called entrainment. And for me, becoming aware of entrainment was really life-changing, because then I realized, we have three, I call them the three B's: brainwaves, breathing, heartbeat. The brainwaves are rhythm, our breath is a rhythm, and our heartbeat is a rhythm. And these three rhythms entrain with each other. So that phrase when you're feeling a little bit anxious or overwhelmed, just slow down, take a deep breath. Yes, slow down and take a deep breath. because as we change the pace or the rhythm of our breathing, the brain waves slow down and the heartbeat slows down. So slowing down is a very, we think it's simple, but life feels a little, oh, I can't stop, I have to keep doing. But it's our choice. And that's one of the conscious ways that we can use this concept of entrainment to feel a little more peaceful, to bring a little more harmony between our thoughts and our feelings and our actions. And that's also one of the main reasons that music has such an effect on us, because our bodies are in training with the pulse or the beat of the rhythm. There's a lot of research happening right now how music affects pain, anxiety, respiratory rates, recovery times, and a lot of that music is probably paced at around 60 beats per minute. Why? Because that's a calm pace for our heartbeat, and we will entrain with the rhythms around us. Entrainment is also interesting to be aware of when you're talking with somebody else. If you're feeling very, very anxious and you're talking really quickly, then that person's trying to entrain with your speech, and their brain waves are going faster and their heart rate is beating, and that feels a little anxious. But if we slow down the pace or the rhythm of our speech, then those around us can feel, they'll exhale. That relaxation response is when we feel safe and we do that. Sometimes it happens automatically and unexpectedly. But that's when our nervous system shifts from that anxious to the peaceful. Parasympathetic nervous system kicks in when we are resting. Rest and digest. We feel safe. And being aware of the rhythms around us can help us consciously then entrain with ourselves within ourselves. No matter what's happening out here, we can choose to slow down our breathing, calm our thoughts, put on some relaxing music. Another little piece for entrainment is when we're using music. Now, we talked about those brain waves. The beta waves are a rhythm that they're more active when we're awake, when we're conscious, when we're thinking. So when we're listening to music that has words or that is familiar, because we have memories associated with familiar music, our beta waves are engaged. So even though we may feel a little, we feel whatever we want to feel with that music, calm, content, energized, whatever those memories are that we have associated with that music. If we want to truly relax and allow our bodies this space to drop into a deeper sense of wellness, a deeper sense of harmony or healing, then you may choose to listen to music that does not have any words, that's just instrumental. Because that then allows the beta waves to slow down and the alpha waves increase. Alpha waves are a little bit slower than the beta waves. And so the alpha waves are experienced with that kind of daydream, relaxing, a little calming. We're not quite meditating yet, but they're slower and they help us slow down. So familiar, unfamiliar music. That's a conscious choice, depending on what you want to experience. So with entrainment, notice your 3 B's, the pace of the rhythm of your speech. When you're talking with somebody else, if you make eye contact with that person, it's been shown that the eye contact helps to entrain the brain waves. And if it's a comfortable space to make eye contact, sometimes eye contact with people, it doesn't feel safe. But if it is a situation where you do feel comfortable and you do make eye contact and you're entraining the brain waves. That's also releasing neurochemicals that help to create these feelings of trust and connection. So that is happening because of entrainment. So let's move on to this next idea that I just, this one rocked my world. So I'm going to demonstrate here with 2 tuning forks, all right? They're on a box. These 2 tuning forks, I'm going to hold this one and strike this so you can hear it. And then I'm going to strike this one. Hopefully that comes through Zoom. I'm going to show you they sing or resonate at the same frequency. It's 440 hertz. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strike this one. And hopefully you're still hearing this one resonate. I struck this one. It began to vibrate. The vibrations moved through the air and activated this one because they are the same frequency. Now do it the other way, okay? Whoop, that wasn't a very good one. And hopefully you're hearing this one. If it didn't come through Zoom, I assure you that they were both resonating. So this idea, this concept is called sympathetic resonance. When 2 objects of the same frequency come into close proximity to each other, they create a resonant system. They begin to sing together. So when I became aware of this concept, it just totally expanded my perception of interpersonal relationships and intrapersonal, that relationship I have within myself and all of these different strings and all of these different aspects and parts, and my relationship with other people, because we have a lot of vibrational energy within us. Everybody does. We bring the fullness of who we are into every moment. We cannot not do that. So we are full of memories and thoughts and feelings and beliefs and ideas and experiences and perceptions and bones and blood and all the action, everything that makes us us. We bring this fullness into every moment and into every interaction with other people. So it kind of makes me giggle to realize how much sympathetic resonance is happening all the time. Even what color we choose to wear. You know, what color am I sympathetically resonating with? And have you ever met somebody and it's like, oh my gosh, I totally feel like I've known you for years. You're sympathetically resonating with them. You walk into a room, can you feel the vibe in this room? That's the energy of the room, and you're feeling it because somewhere inside of you is that frequency. And then we all have that experience of we see somebody coming in the room and we're like, oh my gosh, I have to get away. It's not comfortable to be around them. Well, it's not comfortable because we have all of these frequencies inside of us, and we have low frequencies or happenings in our life that felt hard and scary and traumatic and difficult, and then we have these happy ones up here that has a higher frequency. But we have all of them within us all the time. And so sometimes when people come into our space, that frequency within them sympathetically resonates that frequency within us. And it takes a lot of energy to become aware of it and to deal with it and to change it. And sometimes it's just exhausting. So it's easier to just remove ourselves from that situation. So what I have found personally is I can use music to help me discover those aspects within myself that I maybe didn't want to address or didn't have language for. For example, we used to listen to heavy metal music when I would drive our sons to school, and we'd listen to heavy metal music because I wanted to be the cool mom. But it didn't feel comfortable for me because it felt angry and it felt loud and it felt forceful. And yet I wanted to learn more about why they enjoyed it. So we listened to it and I endured it. And then one day I just asked them, what are they saying? And they shared with me the stories of the musicians and the pain that they had endured, or the myths and the legends that they were conveying through the music. And so having that other piece of information helped me listen to the music from a different perspective. It helped me hear the music as an expression of another human being, which that was kind of different for me. Even as a musician, there was this disconnect where I would listen to a song, I could know all the lyrics to the song, or I could play the music, but I disconnected the composer or the artist, that human piece. And so it was fascinating for me to become aware of oh my gosh, and to realize, music is this expression of another human being. And they are sharing their fullness, their life experiences, their feelings, their emotions, their gifts, their passion, their dreams through this highway of music or art or dance. Because honestly, I see every expression bringing that which is within us out into the world and then sympathetically resonating with those around us or those who receive it. So the heavy metal music I now heard as an expression of another human being. So that helps to build empathy and understanding, and really listening to the music and asking myself, what is the musician conveying? What are they sharing? Can I find a common string? Can I find a common feeling or emotion with that person? Even if I don't like the genre of the music, it's an expression of another human being. So that's just another way to use music to help create harmony within and around us, by listening to the music as an expression of another human being and finding a common string or a common feeling. Even though our experiences are unique, our emotions are human. Feelings of joy, pain, love, loss. And for me, then I also realized, why is this? And I asked the question, I turned the mirror and I said, what's yet to be discovered within me? What string can I discover by listening to this music that I don't necessarily like and that I'm having this experience with? Why am I feeling the anger? Why do I feel and hear it as angry? Well, what I discovered was emotionally, I didn't know how to deal with anger. I just didn't have that skill set. I didn't have the experiences of knowing how to deal with anger. So it became one of my low strings that I didn't really acknowledge. But through the heavy metal music, I could find that string, recognize it, and embrace it. And that helps me build self-compassion and empathy. So listening to music that we don't normally listen to can help us grow and discover more about ourselves, so that then we can understand each other from a different perspective. So creative ways to use music. Again, just listening as an expression of another human being, asking what is the musician communicating or sharing, and do I have a relatable experience in my life? And then we can use those skills with families and friends and coworkers as we develop this sense of empathy and a deeper listening. So we can also use music that we're not familiar with to learn more about ourselves. I did not grow up listening to country music And so that's not in my wheelhouse. My initial instinct when listening to radio stations is to just go past that station. And now it's like musical homeopathy. It's like, here, I'll listen to it a little bit and I'll resist the urge to change it. I'll listen. I'll feel, what is this sympathetically resonating within me? What can I learn about myself perhaps in the moment or not? Because it takes energy to change a pattern and to explore things. And some people are not comfortable with this. And I would urge anyone who does not feel comfortable in the self-exploration to seek a therapist, to reach out to a professional who can help walk you through some of these hidden strings. Because honestly, this journey of self-discovery will last until my very last breath. We are so full. So we never get there. We're always just discovering, which is nice. Lisa Feldman Barrett is a wonderful a neuroscientist, and she has written the book How Emotions Are Made and 7.5 Lessons About the Brain. And she actually coined the term emotional granularity. And that is something that I would urge you to consider. You can find the definition of that. It's really becoming very specific with the emotions that you're experiencing. So instead of feeling something inside and saying, oh, I must be feeling sad and identifying it as sad, perhaps it's a little remorse. Perhaps it can go deeper than just a general sad. So the more specific we can be with how those signals within our body and in our environment, those emotional signals come up and then we identify them as feelings, the more specific we can be. Honestly, it's been shown that it reduces stress. It helps reduce the fight or flight response because we are becoming very specific, and then we have more confidence in deciding what that next step is going to be that supports us. And they have wheels online you can find. Just Google emotional wheels, and we can use music then to help us develop our emotional granularity. If we're in relationship with friends or coworkers or team members, we could start conversations with hey, what's your favorite song? Or what lyrics from a song convey what you're feeling right now? Because some people have a hard time articulating how they're feeling, so we can use music to help create that connection. And yeah, those are the main points that I wanted to cover today. We probably went a little bit over. I will share a handout so that you'll be able to download the information. We talked about slowing down, entrainment, sympathetic resonance, and my invitation now is just a 3-step invitation. So just pause, to feel, stay open, and be curious. What's sympathetically resonating within you? So pause, stay open, and be curious. Pause, stay open, and be curious to discover more of these aspects, of these parts within us that create the harmony within and around us. So I will just close by creating a little bit of space to pause. Stay open and be curious. Thank you.